Have you ever stopped to think about your body as, well, a piece of brilliant, living architecture? Seriously, it's a structure that's not just built once, but is constantly rebuilding itself, day in and day out. So, let's dive into this absolute masterwork of biological engineering, your musculoskeletal system.
It's a really cool paradox when you think about it, right? I mean, on one hand, you've got this solid, rigid frame that protects all your vital organs and keeps you from collapsing into a heap on the floor. But on the other hand, that exact same frame lets you run and jump and move with incredible grace and precision. So how on earth does it manage to be both at the same time?
Well, the secret sauce is this incredible partnership between three highly specialized materials. You can think of them as the steel beams, the shock absorbers, and the engines of your body. You've got bone and cartilage creating that foundational support system, and then you have muscle delivering all the power to get things moving. And our skeleton? Oh, it is so much more than just a coat rack for our organs. Its blueprint is just packed with functions. It gives us support and shape, it shields our delicate organs, it serves as an anchor point for muscles to pull on, creating movement. It even helps regulate mineral levels in our blood. And, of course, it gives us the strength to stand up to gravity every single second.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the main structural material, the very foundation of our internal architecture. Let's talk about bones.
What makes bones so amazing is that it's a composite material. It's this perfect blend of two totally different properties. About 2/3 of it is inorganic minerals, stuff like calcium and phosphate that form this crystal called hydroxyapatite. That's what gives bone its incredible hardness. But the other third is organic, mostly a flexible protein called collagen. And that's what gives it resilience and stops it from being brittle. So you get hardness and flexibility all in one incredible package.
And the brilliant design doesn't stop there. If you look at a single bone, it's not the same all the way through, not at all. The long main part, the shaft, is made of this incredibly dense and strong compact bone, which is built to resist bending forces. But the ends are totally different. They're made of a much lighter, porous, spongy bone, perfectly designed to absorb impact at the joints.
You see, these two types of bone are engineered for completely different jobs. Compact bone is the heavy-duty armor, right? It's all about protection and support. Spongy bone, while still very strong, is much lighter, and this is crucial. It's where our red bone marrow lives. It's the body's factory for new blood cells. And check out the repair speed. The super dense compact bone heals slowly, while the spongy bone, with its much richer blood supply, can heal way faster.
Now, if we zoom way in on that compact bone, we find this absolutely beautiful microscopic structure called the osteon. It looks just like the rings of a tree, and that's not just for looks. This layered structure provides immense strength. Right in the center, there's a canal for blood vessels and nerves, and these tiny little channels called canaliculi allow nutrients to reach every single bone cell. It's literally a living, breathing city.
So who lives in this city? Well, you've got a whole construction crew of 4 specialized cells. First are the osteogenic cells. They're the stem cells that produce the builders. Then you get the osteoblasts, the actual construction workers laying down new bone. Once their job is done, they mature into osteocytes, who are kind of like the site managers, maintaining the bone and sensing stress. And finally, you have the osteoclasts, the demolition crew that breaks down old or damaged bone to make way for the new stuff. This team is constantly at work, remodeling your skeleton your entire life. In fact, you basically get a brand new skeleton every 10 years or so.
But you know, a building made only of steel beams would be super rigid and clunky. You need flexible materials too, and that's where our second key material comes in. Cartilage. It's the body's cushion and connector.
And just like bone, cartilage is not a one-size-fits-all deal. We've got 3 different types for different jobs. There's hyaline cartilage, which is the super smooth, glassy stuff that covers the ends of our bones, letting our joints glide without friction. Then there's fibrocartilage. This is the super tough shock absorber you find in the discs of your spine. And finally, elastic cartilage, which is, well, it's elastic. It's what gives shape to your ears and parts of your throat.
Now, the huge difference between bone and cartilage really boils down to one simple thing: blood supply. Bone is hard, rigid, and has a fantastic blood supply, which is why a broken bone can heal so incredibly well. Cartilage, on the other hand, is soft and flexible, but it has no direct blood supply. It has to get its nutrients through diffusion, which is a really slow process. That's why cartilage injuries, like a torn meniscus in your knee, are famous for healing so slowly. They're perfect partners, really, each doing what the other can't.
Okay, so we've got our framework and our flexible connectors. Now we need some power. We need engines to actually move the whole structure around. Let's bring in the muscles.
Just let that number sink in for a second. Around 650 individual skeletal muscles. Each one is a biological motor, and they all work together to produce every single movement you make, from a powerful jump to the tiniest flicker of an eyelid. It's just an incredible system.
Now, we actually have 3 types of muscle engines in our bodies. There's smooth muscle, which works involuntarily inside our organs, like our intestines. We've got cardiac muscle, which is that specialized, tireless engine that is our heart. But for this explainer, we are laser-focused on skeletal muscle. That's the voluntary kind that attaches to our bones and lets us consciously control how we move and hold ourselves up.
So how does a thought in your brain, like, I want to lift my arm, turn into actual physical force? Well, it all comes down to a tiny electrifying connection.
The command from your nervous system gets handed off to the muscle fiber across this microscopic little gap. It's called the neuromuscular junction. Think of it as the spark plug that ignites the engine.
And that little spark sets off this lightning-fast chain reaction. First, the nerve releases a chemical called acetylcholine. That triggers an electrical impulse in the muscle which causes a flood of calcium ions to be released. Now that calcium acts like a key, unlocking binding sites on these thin filaments called actin. This lets the thick filaments, called myosin, grab on and pull. This is the sliding filament theory. Millions of tiny myosin heads all pulling on actin at the same time, causing the entire muscle to shorten or contract. It's a microscopic tug-of-war that generates all of our strength.
And here's a really key principle you've got to understand. When a nerve tells a single muscle fiber to fire, it doesn't do it halfway. It gives it everything it's got. It either contracts with 100% of its force, or it doesn't contract at all. So you're probably wondering, how do we make gentle movements versus powerful ones? Well, it's all about control. Your brain decides how many muscle fibers to activate at any given time.
So when you put it all together, the rigid bones, the flexible cartilage, the powerful muscles, you realize you have a system that isn't just built, it's alive. It responds to you. Those osteoblasts and osteoclasts, they're listening. When you exercise, you're telling them to build stronger bone. When you move, you're telling your muscles to adapt and grow. So the real takeaway here is this. This incredible piece of living architecture is yours to shape. What are you going to build?